Hey everybody, this is Team Rochelle. You are watching Rolling with the Rochelles and the midweek check-in, and today we are talking about 6 ways to stay healthy during a pandemic. So stick with us.
We are a couple who wants to encourage you to live your best life and welcome you to a family. We are a carefree people with expressive vibes. So tune in with us, cause we're your teammates on Team Rochelle, yeah. So tune in with us on Team Rochelle. We'll give you the best advice on Team Rochelle. We're a family, yeah. Team Rochelle. You rolling with Team Rochelle. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hey guys, this is Team Rochelle, and we are here today, this Wednesday, for a midweek check-in. And we are talking about something very important today.
Very.
Something that I know we are all going through right now, that we have all tried to remedy in some form or capacity. So today we are talking about 6 ways to stay healthy during a pandemic. Now, we are all going through the same pandemic right now. It's a lot to deal with, whether you realize it consciously or not. Yeah. Mentally, we are all going through it. Mm-hmm. And so we have compiled a list of things that we're doing very consciously to keep ourselves mentally healthy, physically healthy, spiritually healthy, so that we're not experiencing that kind of, down slump and roller coaster of emotions that can kind of pop up during unprecedented times like this.
That's true. And one thing you have to realize in this time is so vital to create your own energy, because we're connected. Like literally, as much as we might not like to be or we think we aren't, as a human race we are connected, and that vibration travels around the world when people feel stressed and tension or not being able. You brought up a crazy awesome point, not being able to smile at the next human because their face is covered with the mask. This can be just psychologically draining, and so it takes a toll, and we want to give you strategy to not only help you but share the things that we've done in this time so that it can help create a more positive atmosphere for you and the people you're around. So love you guys. So let's start with number 1, and the first thing is that you're gonna need to find a way to exercise daily. Now I know that everybody might not have access to a gym, and that's completely fine. For the time being, before I was working at Lifetime, I literally would work out in the garage and the heat of the day and just sweat it out. And one thing that's super cool about exercising and working out is that it releases dopamine, which is a happy feeling inside of oneself. And so if you're struggling with feeling sad and you're kind of like stressed out, the first thing you need to do is go for a run. Do some push-ups, do some sit-ups, and make it a daily routine so that you can thrive and you can feel better just naturally. That's a natural booster.
And if you don't like running outside when it's 100 degrees.
Or in the morning.
Well, I don't have a gym right now either. I work out at home. I Pinterest all my workouts, and I write them down, and I check a little box to feel accomplished. And so exercising can help you do more than just feel physically fit, but it can also help you mentally too, because then you feel like, hey, I got something done. It's an
accomplishment.
Check off the box. It's an accomplishment, and not to mention we're all stuck inside with lots of snacks. So exercise is not bad.
You can gain that weight, you know what I'm saying? That quarantine, baby. But okay, so number 2, and Maddie's gonna explain this, is you're gonna want to eat healthy. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we have been very conscious right now about what we're eating and why we're eating it and where it comes from. And so eating healthy and exercise kind of go hand in hand, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's all about fueling your body. It's all about making sure that you're putting what's best inside of it, so you're not getting that like sluggish down feeling. It's so much easier, in my opinion, to feel depression, anxiety, all of these things mentally if you're not giving yourself the right things.
That's true.
Eating out, eating bad food, eating sweets, eating lots of sugar, eating lots of carbs, eating lots of
Nice.
pizza, even though I love pizza.
Pizza!
All the things where it's like, that that's not necessarily going to help your body. It's kind of slowing you down.
Mm-hmm.
And so we've been super conscious, and I've noticed a big difference.
That's true.
We've been doing smoothies in the morning and getting our protein in and getting our supplements and making sure that we're eating food from the earth, and it has definitely helped a lot. So if you're feeling that, and honestly, guys, I've gone through like anxiety and all that stuff too. It helps. It really does. So if you're feeling that, try some healthy food. It might help you a little bit.
Yeah, unless we forget, food is energy.
And medicine.
Yes, and food is, good. And medicine, and we want to keep that in the forefront of your mind. Like whatever you're putting in your body, your energetic field is going to push out. So make sure you're eating greens and fruits and vegetables, and you don't have to do it every day, but most of the time. So moving on to our next point, which is point 3, is that we want to stay connected. Because we're quarantined, because we're isolated, it might feel really good to just be in a slump and just to not be next to people and not pick up the phone and not call. And we're going to need you to do the exact opposite, because community is life force, staying connected. And I know for us, one big part of it is staying connected to our family, staying connected to close friends. Maybe you might not see them in a large social gathering, maybe you might see them one-on-one and stay protected, but at the same time you want to be into interaction, because that helps bolster your conditions. Like, we are social people, humans are interactive, and so when we isolate ourselves, we're not serving ourselves or the community that really needs us. So you gotta stay connected, even if it's against your desire to want to be. You need to. It's essential.
I know for me, I've gotten better in this time about calling people. I used to be really bad about that, because it wasn't a strength. Like, I never like calling. It was like, I'd rather just be next to someone. And
then COVID happened.
And so I'm like, well, I better get good at this, at calling people. And so it's like, find those things where, maybe you wouldn't necessarily normally do that. Excuse me. But I'm good. To go out of your way to make that connection for yourself is super duper important, and for your other people too.
Sure.
Not just for you, but for your family and your friends who know they need connection also.
For your people's people. All right, what numbers is this? 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, so this is number 4. Sorry, I'm looking at the iPhone and talking to y'all at the same time. But number 4 is that, and this is like the biggest I feel that we've talked about, is you must limit your interactions on social media. Now, guys, I know that there are some people who are building brands and personal vestige in these companies. Like, I get, for some people, I know that, you make your money off of this, and I totally understand. I get it. You're building a brand. However, social media addiction is real. It's a real thing. When you're sitting on the phone and you're scrolling for hours, you have to think about the human mind. Like, what we process, what we eat, what we digest is constantly going through our minds, and we're literally proliferating our views and our ideas with like all these people's opinions about things, whether it's politics, whether it's social justices, whether it's negative opinions, like, or just drama, whatever it is, and we're reading that for hours and scrolling for hours. And when you think about your mental health and your mental state, one thing that I think is underrated is, like, for as much as negative things or things that aren't exactly good for you, we digest them at a large rate because of social media. And so what we're saying is not to get off social media. Maybe you might, that's your prerogative, but what we are saying is that you need to limit your interaction, really consider about what's going into your brain and how that's affecting how you view the world. Perception is everything in this time. And so for me, I know personally, when I was really caught up, not to say that I'm not caught up in it anymore, but social justice is for Black Lives Matter. Because I was seeing all of this stuff on social media, it clouded my perception of what was actually happening in the real world. And what I realized is that when it came to those particular matters, I was never experiencing racism at the rate and at the intensity of it when I was looking at it on social media. And that's the thing that we don't want to do. Because things are seemingly bad right now, we don't want to add to that. We don't want to put things on top of that. So in our case, we found that limiting your interaction on social media and being okay with that and just stepping away and saying, let me clear my head and let me fill my heart with things that are positive, like reading inspirational books or, the Bible, or, meditating on good things. That helps us align ourselves with where we want to be and the vibrations we want to put out.
Yeah, and I think that, building a business is different than scrolling. Like, when you're scrolling on social media, it's very, kind of mindless. And we were talking about that the other day. Sometimes 2 hours go by and you're like, what? And it's one of those things, you just have to be conscious of it. Be conscious of what you're ingesting, because a lot of what people are posting right now is very fear-based. It's worries, it's negativity, and it's just because they're, projecting back out what's going on in the world. I know things scare me too, but it's like when you're constantly looking, you're already kind of unsure of what's going on, and then you're digesting everybody else's fears and worries and everything. It's too much. It's too much for us as individuals. So just be mindful when you're on social media.
Oh, number 5, which is you're going to want to get outdoors.
And I think, so being outside and being in nature, we've always been like mall people, or go do something people, or be in crowds, or, be somewhere with some other people. And so we had to figure out a new lane and what that looked like. And being outside, I mean, it's honestly like going hiking, going to the park, going, to a lake, going to Barton Springs, like putting your feet in the water, getting connected with outdoors and with nature. And, it's like there's so much more, I think, sometimes than we think about. And being outside is one of those things. Not only is it healthy for your mind, but it gets you connected in your body and your spirit to the earth, and it can be very healing. Even if you wouldn't describe yourself as an outside person, because I know there are people who are like, not me, not me.
Not the mosquitoes.
Not the mosquitoes, not with these allergies. But we just encourage you to get outside, because I know that that's something that's really benefited our family and all of our mental and physical and spiritual health.
Yeah, find your outside. Because for me, I know that I'm not a very woodsy person, but I love the beach and I love the lake. I love water. So find your outside. And the last and final tip that we want to give you to stay healthy during this quarantine is do not neglect your greatest gift, which is your family. Guys, honestly, what we've learned through all of this mess is that the only thing that stands on in this lifetime is your family. And so we as a conglomerate of 3 and then our extended, we've seen that there are so many precious moments snatched away from people because they don't necessarily understand the value of what that means to be connected to a family, especially if they're living on this earth. And so we think that it's the most incredible thing to keep that as your top priority. Staying connected and anchored to people who are there for you and who love you and who, essentially you spend your life with. And I get there's a lot of worries, financial stresses, mental stresses, there's so much. But at the end of the day, this is what I have and this is what we have. And so, again, you might not experience family in that same facet, but we want to encourage you, reach out to your friends, reach out to people who you love and you trust, and stay connected, because again, this is what we have. This is what we have to make the best out of. And so we want you to live healthily, and the only way that we can think of that is to be connected to family. So that is our 6 tips to stay healthy during a pandemic. And Maddie looks like she wants to say something, so I was just gonna say sometimes family can be chosen family too.
That is true. Families look all different, so just a reminder.
If you're
going through anything with your families, it can look different for everybody.
It can. You have to get great perspective, great honest perspective. All right, so that is the 6 tips to help you stay healthy, live, and active during the pandemic. And we want you to tune in to that new next episode this Sunday. This will be our
last episode
for this season. Season 2 is over. We're so thankful though, guys, we are so appreciative. So much has gotten accomplished. I feel like we've got a steady viewership of, teammates out here who are just loving it. The GoFundMe is really kicking off. I mean, we have so many things to be grateful for. You guys sharing our videos, liking, commenting, subscribing. We're just thankful. And so we're going to close it out. It's going to be a great ender. So please stay with us. And then we're taking a 2-week break. Only 2 weeks. And then we're right back with season 3. So guys, join us. It's going to be great. And we love you.
Don't forget to click like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you click the little bell notification, especially because we're taking a couple weeks off. You will be able to see our notifications when we start all the way at the beginning for season 3. So don't forget to do that, and we will see you guys on Sunday.
Sunday. Peace out.
Rochelle.